Well, I'm Councillor Andrew Burns, and since May this year I've been leader of the City of Edinburgh Council, and I've been an elected member on the council since 1999, so I'm in my fourth term on the council. Right, well, I've got very, very clear memories of my first work experience. I think it was about 15 or 16. I'm 48 now, so it was quite a while ago. But I do remember it very clearly. It was a sort of school placement that I did when I think I was probably in S3 or 4, and it was in a large factory canteen. So in effect, I was a sort of cook for several weeks. I think it was around about Christmas time as well, because I remember having to deal with lots of Christmas dinners, and I found it a really enjoyable experience, and I've always actually maintained an interest in food ever since then. I think probably in the work environment, the people that helped me most, I spent about 4 years with a company called Michelin, who make tyres, and I was down at their head office in Stoke-on-Trent and their main factory in England. As I say, I spent 4 years with them, and the people who were my seniors there at Michelin were really, really helpful to my sort of career progression, and I got the best training in my sort of working life that I've ever had when I was at Michelin. So I think the training and personnel managers were the people at Michelin were the people who had the biggest impact on my working life. Well, as I say, I've just been the council leader since May, but I'm absolutely loving being in charge of the City of Edinburgh Council. You know, it's my dream job. As I've mentioned, I've been on the council for 3 terms before this one, and I'm really making the best of, hopefully, making the best of being council leader. I'm absolutely determined just to enjoy the job, and I consider it an absolute privilege and an honour to be in the position that I'm in, and I'm just going to make every effort to do as good a job as I can, and to have some fun doing it as well. I think it's really important to stress that. I think probably trying to link it to what I thought was the really, really good training that I got when I was with Michelin for those 4 years. I wish I'd had some of that quality training earlier on in my working life, because that was in my early 30s when I got that really, really high quality training, and I wish I'd been able to sort of access some of that when I was a bit younger. I think it probably would have helped me develop more quickly, but that's just one of those things. I was lucky enough to be able to work for such a good blue chip company eventually and get that level of training, and it's really stood me in good stead, even though it was 20 years ago. I'm really lucky that my parents never drove me to do anything in particular. All they really wanted me to be was to be happy, and I've always felt that was a really good thing, and I've got one son myself now, and I try and take the same type of approach and just encourage him to be happy in whatever he does. So I never really had any anticipation that I would be anything specifically. I just wanted to try and do the things that I like and enjoy, and to some extent, you know, I've managed to do that very luckily. Well, I mean, for the immediate future, you know, we've got a council term in my current role from 2012 to 2017, and as I said, I'm just going to try and do as best a job I can of running the council and being council leader in conjunction with all my colleagues and professional officers, and I want to try and make as much of a success of that role as I possibly can. So that's what I'm really focused on for the next 4.5 years. Because I am a dad of somebody who's nearly 15, you know, very, very shortly he'll be looking for a job, and in the current economic climate, you know, it's very, very challenging, much more challenging when I turned 16, 17. So I really do, at a personal as well as a professional level, feel that the Edinburgh Guarantee is crucial to the council, and working in partnership with the private sector and public sector organisations, because I want to make sure that as many young people have got a leg up onto the sort of employment ladder as possible, and anything the council can do to help that, I think is got to be, you know, money and time well spent, because there's nothing good about being, absolutely nothing good about being unemployed and not having a job. You know, it's a waste of potential talent. So I want to make sure that I do everything that I can, the council does everything it can to get as many chances for young people to get onto the employment ladder as possible. Well, I'm really hoping that it does tackle what I think is the real blight of youth unemployment, and it helps turn that figure around, because for a long time in Edinburgh and right across Scotland we had decline in youth unemployment. It's now going the opposite way, and if you look at the figures in this capital city, which is compared to other places is fairly economically successful, but they're still very, very worrying, and I think we've got to try and turn that around. So what I'm hoping the Edinburgh Guarantee will mean for Edinburgh, with the council and all its public and private sector partners working together, it'll mean those youth unemployment figures turning round and stopping that younger generation being blighted, because as I say, I don't think there's anything really much that's good about being unemployed, and it's really important that we try and give everybody, young people, as much of a chance to get into the employment market as possible, and that's what I hope the Edinburgh Guarantee will do.